Let's play a game, shall we? Hey everyone! So as you can see, Shannon is back with us today for another video.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
So this video is going to be a little bit different than anything we've ever done before. We're going to begin with a question for everyone watching. The question is, how many people do you feel you trust with your life?
Maybe a handful, including spouses, parents, brothers and sisters, or perhaps a best friend. All of those are pretty reasonable answers. It would obviously have to be somebody who you knew very well and fully trusted.
So the next question is, who wouldn't you trust with your life? Well, that answer will be simple, based on the characteristics of those whom you would trust. Anyone whom you don't know very well and don't trust, right?
Well, that brings us to a new series that we're rolling out called Trust Issues. We're going to put the idea of those you trust with your life to the test.
As mentioned earlier, those whom you would trust with your life are those whom you know very well, and those whom you're confident have your very best interest at heart. For Jehovah's Witnesses, though, does that same concept apply? Do you put your trust only in those whom you know very well personally, and those who know the same about you?
We're going to test your knowledge of those who you say you trust with your life. Who are we talking about?
The governing body. The governing body are a group of 8 men who demand the trust of every Jehovah's Witness because they all claim to have been chosen by Jehovah without any evidence whatsoever.
So, since you trust these 8 men with your life, let's see if that trust can be validated.
We're going to ask 10 questions about the governing body, and you'll have the opportunity to put your knowledge of them to the test.
There are a couple of rules.
Rule number 1. These questions are timed, so no pausing. You'll receive 15 seconds per question, and each governing body member will be an option to choose from. If you know them well enough to trust with your life, it shouldn't be too difficult to quickly select your answer.
Rule number 2, no cheating. If you decide to use informational resources while you play, well, that's your choice, but it defeats the whole purpose of this exercise. Doing that will only conclude that you're not confident in your knowledge of your own governing body members. And that's it.
Just to foreshadow, we will be providing the answers to these questions, but we will not be providing detail regarding each answer, as we always encourage all to do individual research when it comes to finding truth.
If you're watching this video and you're not a Jehovah's Witness, feel free to play along too. It's possible you may score just as well as your average Jehovah's Witness will. So let's get to it. Are you ready?
Question number 1.
Question number 2.
Question number 3.
Question number 4.
Question number 5.
So by this point, you get the general idea of how this works. How have you scored so far? Those were pretty simple questions, right?
But that's surface level information. And to really get to know someone, enough to trust them with your life, you want to know more. So, let's dig a little bit deeper.
Question number 6.
Question number 7.
You know, scientists say that the cranial capacity of a woman is 10% smaller than that of a man. So now this shows that she's just not equipped for the role of headship. Her role is one of subjection to the man. Her role is that of submissiveness, and that means that she should recognize that she is a woman and be glad to be a woman. Never want to be what you are not equipped to be. But we'll hear a sister say, oh, if I were an elder, I'd show them a thing or two. Or sometimes we hear them say, oh, if I were a man, I'd do this and I'd do that. As if to be wishing to be something that he's not designed to be. Do you know what that borders on? That borders on homosexuality. And you know what the devil is doing nowadays? He's taking women who want to be men. He makes men out of it. And you know what else he's doing? He's taking men who want to be women, and he's making women out of it. And it's spreading. It's not a little thing. But homosexuality is something that is spreading, and it's all over the earth. It's not just here, San Francisco and Oakland, but it's everywhere. But it all begins with a thought. Somewhere, individuals have wanted to be what they are not designed to be, and they've nurtured that. Will never voice the thought of wanting to be what you're not cut out to be. Be glad to be what you are, one. Your role in the earth is a beautiful role that Jehovah God has placed you in.
Question number 8.
My name is Jeffrey William Jackson.
Does your church accept corporal punishment of children?
Our church accepts the family arrangement, and he expects that parents have the responsibility to discipline and raise their children.
That doesn't answer my question. Do you accept
I
corporal
see.
punishment?
In our literature, I think you'll see time and time again, we've endeavored to explain that here, discipline is referring to more a mental point of view.
I regret to tell you, you're still not answering my
sorry.
question. Do you accept
Okay.
corporal punishment?
No,
You don't.
not personally, no. And not as an organization, we don't encourage it.
Question number 9.
see, I was in Vietnam, a medic in that war. I've seen what happens to humans when they're mangled. You see it on TV, some of that. Well, till you smell human flesh burning from a helicopter crash. People that look like humans, like a hot dog on a grill, blackened and splitting open. I know what's coming at Armageddon. A lot of dead people. A lot of dead people.
Now on to our final question. Question number 10.
And do you see yourselves as Jehovah God's spokespeople on earth?
That I think would seem to be quite presumptuous to say that we are the only spokesperson that God is using.
So, what's the verdict? If this were a test score, anything less than 6 correct answers would be a failing grade.
If you didn't score well and the test was perhaps on a spouse, a parent, family, or a friend, you no doubt want to improve your knowledge about them, right?
Now, if some of these questions were unsettling for you or perhaps even sounded outlandish, that's to be expected. So, if you're going to look up information about the first 5 questions, you can find them on jw.org because none of those facts give any cause for pause.
But unfortunately, jw.org does not provide the whole story about these individuals, which is why you'd never know any of this information regarding the last 5 questions unless you did extensive research outside of jw.org.
So the next question is, why don't you know about these men whom you trust with your life and demand that trust?
Additionally, what else don't you know about them? Perhaps it's time to find out.
If you're a Jehovah's Witness and you're apprehensive about doing outside research, you can simply use this video as an excuse to prove us wrong.
Also, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, you may reason that you trust Jehovah's judgment regarding the appointment of these men, but other than them proclaiming to be chosen by him, how do you know that they are? You must be willing to separate Jehovah from Jehovah's Witnesses and base your level of trust in these men on their actions, the same way you would anyone else.
Otherwise, how would you know that they don't fit the description of those mentioned by Jesus at Matthew chapter 7, verse 15?
So if you enjoyed part 1 of this video series and would like to see more like it, please let us know down below in the comments. We believe this approach has the potential to encourage others to research on their own and find truth for themselves, while also being honest about who they would and should trust with their life.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching. Till next time.